What's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of Unscripted. It's Tuesday night. You know what that means. I have some of the biggest, the baddest, the best wrestlers of today and yesteryear, and this night is no different. Ladies and gentlemen, you may know him as the one who wants to take away your sins, Mordecai. You might know him as Kevin Thorn in ECW. Even, how about this? Vengeance. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Without further ado, Kevin Thorn Furtick, which is now a amazing real estate mogul. Let everybody know about that, my man. How are you tonight?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Likewise, man. And like I was saying, man, you're doing some really big things in the real estate world. We actually had a cool phone conversation a few weeks back, man. You were telling me a few things about your real estate, man. Let the listeners know about it.
Yeah, I started real estate about 3.5 years ago, and I mean, the sky's been the limit. I've kind of used, kind of what I learned in wrestling and stuff like that, as far as marketing and, building a brand and stuff, and then just took it to the real estate world, and I've been crushing numbers and everything else. I've even went as far as have a really nice gold belt made. Of course, I left it at the office today like a complete idiot that I could have showed to everybody. But,
No problem,
follow
man.
me on Instagram or, Facebook or whatever else at the Kevin Furtick. And you guys will be able to see all those pictures and more. Nice. I do a lot of cool stuff. I always, take pictures with my clients in the belt. And I mean, we just have fun. So
nice. That's awesome, man. How long have you been doing that now?
3.5 years.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
What made you
January? So.
What made you want to endeavor into that field?
I needed a grown-up job. I always have a bad knack of getting out of the wrestling business right as it's about to get super hot again. Gotcha. So I was like, I need a job. I need to start making some money, and then kind of started going that route full force. And then now you look around at the wrestling business as a whole, and it's blowing up, which is awesome. But I'm getting
you competed last year, didn't you?
I compete every now and then. It all depends. There's certain promoters out there that I really, really like, that I've always had a good bond with, that, I can go in there and see, basically kind of family and friends in a way. And it just makes it fun. It's not work. It makes it when you do it like that, at least for me, I really, really enjoy it. It doesn't seem like, a 9-to-5 job. It seems like a vacation, and it's, and it's just fun seeing friends.
Yeah. Awesome, man. You ready to dive into these questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Let's start off with Guillermo. Guillermo asks, Mordecai was built to beat up the sinners. So was there any plans for a feud against The Undertaker or Eddie Guerrero? And how was the gimmick born?
Well, the Mordecai gimmick was basically born. I grew up in a Baptist church. I grew up around, also too, a lot of my parents, grandparents, stuff like that were Catholic. I just always kind of liked, that, kind of supernatural thing with sin, stuff like that. I remember the Mordecai was actually supposed to be Malachi. That's what I did. I wanted to be Malachi. I didn't want to be Mordecai. And that was because Children of the Corn, when I was younger, scared the ever living crap out of me. So, I still don't like driving through cornfields at night to this day. Kind of stuff, or being in, a scary Amish town where you start seeing them, you're like, okay, what's going on here? But yeah, so that was kind of the start of it. And then, I was supposed to go against The Undertaker, Eddie Guerrero. I was supposed to do a lot of stuff. But I ended up being an idiot, and I got in a fight in a bar, and it just didn't work out. Just didn't work out that way, man. So live and learn.
True. So that's how you got released, was because of the bar incident?
I had a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Guillermo's also asked, did you think that New Breed should have won at WrestleMania and the ECW original should have won the Extreme Rules match? So basically the other way around.
No, man, I think that was the moment for those guys. Right. Dreamer and Sandman and Sabu and, RVD. RVD's, won plenty of WrestleManias. It wasn't a big deal for him. But, I think for guys like Tommy, Sandman, Sabu, those guys, I mean, they gave their blood, sweat, and tears to that. I mean, technically Stevie Richards should have been in there, possibly Balls, I think everybody should have had a little bit more part of that match as far as the originals go. Yep. And I was just definitely, happy to be a part of it for the New Breed side, and stuff. But the, there for a while, it looked like we might not even have that match because of timing stuff. They were going to what's the one match you can get rid of? And that was kind of ours in that whole pay-per-view. So, luckily, we still had it. We still got out there and did it. And then the next night was kind of the match that everybody had talked about. 2 nights after in Fort Wayne, that was the match that everybody kind of talked about what should have been for, the WrestleMania match. But we just didn't have the time to do it that way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Good point there. Elvis and Adam are basically saying the same thing, so I'll bring both their questions up. Which character did you feel more comfortable portraying? I remember seeing you October 1st, 2006 in Pueblo, Colorado on an ECW house show. Adam also says, do you prefer Mordecai or Kevin Thorn more? So they both were basically asking the same thing.
Got it. Elvis, first off, man, I've got my Taking Care of Business t-shirt on. I'm a huge Elvis fan. Great name, especially growing up in Memphis. Pueblo, Colorado, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know how you can answer this, but I'm going to ask you a question. I think I wrestled RVD that match in Colorado. I remember the air was quite thin and stuff, but I want to say it was in Pueblo for an ECW show. It was me versus RVD. But yeah, they were both. I was comfortable with both, to be honest. It just two different ways I did stuff. When I was 7 in OVW and stuff, I was kind of gothic-y vampire kind of stuff. And then with doing Mordecai, it was I grew up around religion. It was very easy for me to do, and stuff. So I was a lot younger as Mordecai. So, I think that kind of played into some of it too. Being I think I was 26. Getting, told you were about to go against the Undertaker and, possibly main event in a WrestleMania match. I don't know if you have the, I guess, business sense. Look at you always say, hey, if I could have, would have, should have back then. Now at 45, if I could have known what I know now and done it then, it would have been a totally different, ball game.
Yeah.
So,
good memory, Kevin. October 1st, 2006, ECW house show in Pueblo, RVD. Yeah.
Nice.
I
don't remember much. I remember I probably got kicked in the face a bunch of times.
Right.
Dude, sorry, vampire dude. Dude, sorry, vampire dude.
No. Is that what he would call you?
Oh yeah. Rob was always RV Dizzle. I always called him RV Dizzle, and I was Kevin Vampire Dude. And nice. And every time I went out there with him, God, nobody knows their stuff. Probably, Rob just knows how to do it. Just walk and talk the whole time. After the first time wrestling him, I was never nervous. We just laughed the whole time out there, and it was just so much fun.
Nice. From your observation, how was he received backstage?
Rob?
Yeah.
Good as far as I knew. He just did his own thing. He didn't care. Yeah. He nothing really bothered him. So, he knew that he could, and I think you got to get, once you get to that party, you're a place in your career like that. That's probably the best you can ever be in a wrestling thing, is when you know that, what, all right, screw you, I'll just go over here and go wrestle. And, and you're always wanted, and you can always go work somewhere at that time. And that's how Rob was. Rob can, he'll work till the day he dies if he wants to, because he'll always be wanted.
That's called leverage, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
leverage.
It is.
Absolutely. When you have options, you have leverage. Absolutely. Josh is asking, how was it working in ECW?
I was good. It was fun. We were the merry band of misfits. At that time. It was. I think they wanted it to fail, but we just kept having such a good time doing it. And everything else that it was just fun. When we were doing our some of those first house shows, the biggest problem is you get to the towns, and most always with WWE house shows and stuff like that, they have somebody that will go in there, promote and get stuff done, and get everybody on radio. They'll do TV spots and all this stuff, and then a couple weeks, well, not a couple weeks, probably a couple months into it, you started kind of hearing, from those, promoter stuff. Well, they only gave us like a $700 budget to promote this. We're drawing, 700 to 1,000 in some of these stadiums, and it's like, if nobody knows it's here, what do you expect? So
yeah.
So, but we made it fun, and it's more intimate for the fans, and I really enjoyed it.
How did you first hear about the shift over from ECW and closing up the ECW to NXT? Vince's decision to do that.
To be honest, I didn't even know what happened because I was already gone during that time.
Okay.
Yeah. So that didn't. I
you were gone right beforehand. I think
I was already gone.
Yeah, you left in 2008.
I think somewhere in there,
somewhere around there. Yeah, because I think NXT became NXT in 2010. I think
yeah. So it's deep, or not Deep South, but whatever it was.
So it was okay. So it was
FCW.
It was so FCW became more of the NXT that we see
NXT.
now,
Yep.
but NXT was more of a replacement for ECW
for that time
yeah.
slot.
Yeah. So it was the closure of ECW essentially. So yeah. So let's go with Arpit is asking, what's your opinion on AEW? What stars in the company have impressed you the most?
I watch AEW a little bit here and there. I mean, I think they got a great product. I mean, I'm not in the wrestling scene like I used to be by any means, and stuff, and I try to keep up. But I mean, when you got guys in my office who I didn't even know were wrestling fans, came up to me on Monday like, "Oh my God, did you see that pay-per-view?" And I'm like, "No, I did." It was so awesome. So that tells me we're getting people. The wrestling business is getting people talking again.
Yeah.
That's like when I joined the wrestling business. That was right at the time of the Monday Night Wars and stuff, and you'd see the people working out, but they go do their cardio right at that time, so they could grab one of the TVs and watch WCW or Raw. So it's one of those things where I think that's exciting and stuff. They've got a lot of young guys, a lot of young talent. I think they take a lot of risk that I don't but it's their style of wrestling. I've never been a flyer, so I don't know how that would be. And quite frankly, I don't think anybody would want to catch me because I'm fat. But like with that being said, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Tommy End. I'm a huge fan of Punk. I got to wrestle Punk a bunch when I was in ECW. Billy Gunn is one of my best friends. Seeing his two sons doing what they're doing now, and starting to chip away and get up there. There's so many guys that when I left WWE, I was out on the independents with and stuff, and seeing these guys start to make a name for themselves and everything else. I think it's awesome. I mean, and it's given them a platform. And it seems like every week the product is getting better, and they're making the right moves. So that's exciting to see. So
on that note, I think CM Punk versus Tommy End, or we know him in AEW as Malachi Black. Maybe there's a match between them two down the in the near distant in the near future.
I hope so.
Not so distant.
I hope
future.
so. It'll be good. Or heck, just make them a tag team.
Interesting. That would be
both got that similar look, similar style, and they both like to set Indian.
Or
what is that?
Crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross applesauce. Yeah. The battle of the crisscross applesauce.
Or there you go.
Crisscross.
Which brand is better? I think it would be really interesting to see both of them crisscross applesauce facing each other in some type of duel.
Those two are smart enough. They'd come up with something pretty good to
exactly.
to beat each other up in it.
And that's what I like about I like both of them in Mind for the Business, but specifically Black. My thing is I'm old school. I wish that he would heal it up a little bit more to help out with the baby faces and to really get that heat. He needs to be more of a heat magnet to me because he's so infectious as a character that fans love him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, to me, it kind of hurts the baby face when the heel is loved. I'm hoping that he'd heal it up a little bit more and just really work on those cadences and that mic work and just get that heat, make people just love to hate him. You know what I mean? That's how Mordecai was. You know what I mean? He was people love to hate Mordecai, especially when he beat up Scotty Too Hotty, man. I'll never forget that, man.
Poor Scotty.
Yeah, poor Scotty, man. I guess not anymore because he works for WWE again. So
he's doing good. He's doing good.
Yeah, he is. He's an NXT trainer there. Rose is saying, "Congrats on moving on and finding something to enjoy. Sometimes letting go of wrestling can be overwhelming." Your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
It's the I compared uh, wrestling to the greatest. It's like a drug. I mean, you can never once you've had the taste of it and everything else, you never not stop wanting it. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. It's
So
very infectious. Yeah. People who retire over and over again, like the Terry Funks of this world, I mean, they can
oh
they
yeah,
can
yeah,
say amen to that
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. No,
uh,
I do say when I'm going to finally retire. I am going to retire.
yeah.
I'm done. I'll do autograph signings, but I will not try to slide my fat butt in the yoga pants anymore.
Or you could cut the Ric Flair promo. I will never retire.
Oh yeah, nope, not me.
Steven is asking your toughest opponent you ever face in the ring.
Um, I don't as far as what as far as working with
I
or
guess I guess the stiffest worker, I suppose.
oh well, I mean I'm probably the most yeah. I think people think I'm the stiffest when they wrestle me. So I'm a give and get. If I'm going to give it, I'm going to get it back. So I never really worried about it that much.
Anyone you
So
could think of, like just offhand, like while in ECW or Raw or SmackDown, that was pretty stiff with you that go blow for blow?
no, I mean nobody was really terrible. I mean, me and Bob beat the crap out of each other a couple
Holly?
times. Yeah, Holly.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Like
Yeah, I
that
mean,
was probably the first
but I
person I
mean
would thought of.
nobody's. Yeah, everybody. Nobody's ever really beef and meaning to. We just do it and laugh.
Yeah, yeah,
So.
yeah. Let's see. Some good questions here. Let's see. I'm just going through these questions here. Um, did Paulie ever not pay you? Well, you didn't work for that ECW, so that wasn't.
Yeah.
You didn't. Was
I
Paul?
didn't really have to worry about that.
that wasn't your ECW era.
Yeah, that wasn't my ECW. I still
So
got paid.
yeah, you're right, because that was a WWE check, not an
Yeah,
ECW check.
yeah.
Now, when you did work for OVW, did you work with Paul? Or did you work with Cornette?
Both,
You worked with both.
both. Yeah,
How was it working with Paul and Cornette?
uh, they're both evil geniuses. I mean, they're phenomenal. I mean, I worked with Paul a lot in ECW too. And Dusty, and they were great. And then Cornette. I mean, he's an evil. He's got a mind for business. He's passionate about it. He has his moments where he blows up, but when you're that passionate about something, I mean, it's the love of your life.
Yeah.
I kind of see, some of the craziness sometimes and tirades and stuff like that. And, but I mean, he live, breathe and die this business. And that's the way it is. So, and that's, he always wanted to protect it.
Yep. You had a mixed tag match at the December to Dismember, right? It was
me and
you and Ariel
versus Mike Knox and Kelly.
and Kelly. Yeah.
Yep.
So December to Dismember of 2006 is arguably one of the worst pay-per-views that
And I was on
ever presented.
It was awesome.
You were on it. How do you feel about that? There's the stories that Heyman blew up afterwards and things like that. What's your experience of being a part of the notorious December to Dismember pay-per-view in 2006, I believe?
The only thing I can remember about it is I think I got like a $6,000 check for it, and I was pretty happy about that.
Oh, nice.
So it was
Merry
what
Christmas.
it was. It wasn't my fault. I didn't write the thing. I just had to go out there and deal the cards we were handed, and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it just proves it's the big guy's toy, and there's days he just doesn't want to do anything with anybody, and it just kind of was slapped together for no reason. I think, and that's kind of why it came off the way it did. Is they were more concerned probably with Raw going on Monday than they cared about that pay-per-view on that Sunday. So,
yeah.
I mean, just was what it was. They needed something to fill space filled because they decided to say they were going to have that pay-per-view, and we just got stuck with nobody caring. So
Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting that you said that. Well, I guess to go further into that, what was the reason to even have that December pay per view? Did Vince say, "Okay, I need a December pay per view," when they put you on that slot?
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
It felt so just thrown together. You know what I mean? It was
oh,
just
it was,
yeah.
it was.
What was from what you saw in the back? What was Heyman's reaction toward it all? When
Oh,
you
he hated every
afterwards?
bit of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
he hated every bit of it.
yeah, I'm sure he did. Yeah. A few more questions here. Did you keep in touch with anyone from the New Breed or Ariel?
Yeah, oh yeah. I talk to Monty Brown all the time.
The Pounce.
Yeah. And then I talk to Ariel here and there and stuff. But yeah, I talked to saw Elijah a while back. I haven't seen Stryker in a while, but yeah, all those guys I at least touch base with every couple months, stuff like that.
Burks, he's a mainstay in NWA nowadays, and
Yeah,
Striker's actually
he's doing his thing, man.
he is. Yeah, he is. I like it. Yeah, Striker's actually commentating for Impact now. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, him and D'Lo.
See, that shows you how much I watch. Unfortunately, I need to keep up more and watch. But yeah,
yeah, Striker and D'Lo are the commentators for Impact now. So
those are good.
Yeah, interesting duo there with their commentary. Interesting question: Kevin Thorn versus the Fiend. Who would win?
Who would win? Well, I'm going to say me, of course.
Of course, yeah, of course.
I mean, come on,
of course. All right, cool. So I think Look, James is asking, did you ever get to work with Benoit, and who was your favorite opponent to work with?
Yeah, I worked with Benoit a lot. A bunch of house shows up until whatever happened down there. We'll never know, unfortunately, because no one was there to find out. But yeah, I worked with Benoit a lot. It was awesome. I mean, we went out there and beat the crap out of each other in a couple house shows and stuff. I still remember when everything happened. I still had black and blue all over my chest from chops and stuff, and carried those bruises, for a couple weeks after the fact, and stuff. So it's kind of a reminder, and stuff. And then, favorite opponent, it just all depends. I mean, there's all kind of fun stories. I mean, I loved working RVD. I loved working Tommy Dreamer. I mean, I had some fun ones with Kane and in England. There's a local toy shop here in town, and I literally went to it and started. They have all the the loose WWE figures, and I'm pulling out everybody I've worked, and literally I just keep pulling them out, and I'm like, I never realized I worked with that many people.
Nice.
And that was what was really cool. Is just, it was one after the next. It's like, oh yeah, I wrestled, in OVW, I wrestled, John Cena and Batista and those guys, and then through the course of leaving WWE and kind of wrestling all over the world, Steiner's, it was really surreal, just pulling all those out and having a little memory of each one of what I where it was at and everything else. I was like, when I got to the end, and I think I'm still missing 25. I think I came up with just writing them down.
Wow.
And I had probably 50 or 60 action figures from guys just in a big pile. So, I started wrestling when I was 21. I've been kind of off and on lately, but almost 24 years in this, being around these guys and, at different moments and stuff. You always have some, some great memories. One of the things we do now, me and Gangrel every now and then is we have a tag team in one of the promotions in South Carolina, and I mean, I laugh my ass off the entire time. I mean, it's just so fun with him and stuff, and and that's what it's about. Is is that camaraderie with a lot of guys out there. I think every one of them is special in their own little way. Especially if you get to walk out of it without hurting them or hurting yourself, and entertaining the crowd. So
yeah. Good stuff, man. Well, let's just know once again what you're up to and where to find you on social media.
All right. At the Kevin Fertig, Instagram and Twitter, and I think Kevin Fertig Realty if you're looking for a real estate agent in Indiana. On Facebook. Then I think I still have a Facebook page, Kevin Thorn. Anyway, on another one for Facebook that's just wrestling. And then if anybody's out there looking for a realtor in Indianapolis area and stuff, please don't hesitate to look me up. I'd love to work with you and stuff like that. And you'd always come have some fun stories and stuff like that as we're riding around looking at houses.
Nice. Awesome, man. Kevin, it's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for coming on the show tonight.
Hey, man, thank you so much, man. Take care of that back too, dude.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that.
All right. We'll see you guys. Thanks.